21 Savage just did something rap fans always lock in for. He pulled the curtain back on a new album and revealed the full track list for What Happened to the Streets. Song titles, features, the whole lineup laid out like a blueprint. On paper, it's just 14 songs. But if you really look at this track list, it feels like a map of where 21 is in his life, how he views street culture right now, and which voices he trusts to help tell that story. And stick around, because toward the end we'll talk about whether this lineup really matches the heavy title he chose, or if it might leave that question wide open. First off, the title, What Happened to the Streets? That's not some random phrase. That's a question people argue about in barbershops, comment sections, and group chats every day. Are the streets the same? Is there still a code? Or did clout, cameras, and the internet change everything? When an artist like 21, who built his whole image on surviving that world, puts that question on the cover, it feels like he's trying to document a shift, not just drop another playlist of bangers. Then you look at how he opens the album, a track called Where You From. That's the first question you hear in a lot of neighborhoods. It's really asking, who are you and what do you stand on? As an intro, it sounds like 21 is checking IDs at the door before you even step into the rest of the project. It sets the tone that this album is about identity, loyalty, and where you fit in the bigger story of the streets. Right after that, you get Ha. Short title, but you can already hear the energy. It sounds like a petty, sarcastic, disrespectful kind of record, the type where 21 says something cold and then laughs it off. Those songs usually turn into fan favorites because they feel like inside jokes for people who really understand the lifestyle he's rapping about. Stepbrothers featuring young Nudy is one of the first big highlights on the track list. 21 and Nudy always feel like family, telling two sides of the same story. When you see them together on a song with a title like Stepbrothers, it gives off, we've really been through things together energy. That's not just a feature for streams. That sounds like real chemistry and shared history stepping into the booth. Then you've got Cup Full. That kind of title can mean a lot. Full of success, full of pain, full of substances, or full of thoughts you don't want to say out loud. 21 is good at that numb but honest style, where you can tell he's seen a lot and it's catching up with him. A song like Cup Full has the potential to be one of those more emotional records that fans go back to when they're in their feelings. Pop It featuring Latto is another one that's guaranteed to have people talking. Beyond the music, fans are always going to watch their chemistry closely because of everything people speculate about them. But musically, it makes sense too. Latto brings loud, confident, modern Southern energy, while 21 has that calm, menacing, laid-back delivery. If the beat hits and the hook is right, this is the kind of track that could move in the clubs and still feed the gossip side of the internet at the same time. Then there's Mr. Recoup with Drake. Whenever you see 21 and Drake on the same track, expectations go way up. The title Mr. Recoup sounds like it could be about the business side, labels, deals, who really gets paid, who's fronting, who's actually recouping their investment. Or it could just be a slick flex record with double meanings about money. Either way, that's probably one of the songs a lot of listeners will click first just off the names attached. JOWIH. Jump Out feels like one for the people who miss the early, raw, aggressive 21. Just the phrase jump out brings to mind sudden moves, surprise action, that chaotic energy that defines a lot of street stories. If this album is really about what happened to the streets, you need a record that captures that unpredictable feeling, and this looks like it might be one of those. Dog Shot featuring GloRilla is an interesting pairing. GloRilla doesn't sound polished or filtered. She raps like she still has one foot in the environment she's talking about. On a song with a title like that, you're not expecting something pretty. You're expecting grimy, loud, unapologetic energy. That's the kind of track that might not be radio friendly, but it can become a cult favorite if it feels authentic. Code of Honor with Herbo is another track where the title and the feature line up perfectly. Both 21 and Herbo built their reputations on talking about real loss, real consequences, not just online drama. A song called Code of Honor fits right into the album's big question. Do people still move with the code? Or is everyone out for themselves now? If they really tap into that topic, this could end up being one of the deepest cuts on the project. Gang Over Everything featuring Metro Boomin is dope in a different way, because Metro isn't just in the background as a producer, he's credited as part of the story. Metro and 21 together helped shape a whole era of trap. A title like Gang Over Everything points to prioritizing your crew over fame, relationships, even safety. A lot of people say that phrase casually, but 21 has actually lived with the consequences of that mindset, so there's room for either glorifying it or questioning it. Halftime interlude looks like the reset button. Interludes can be lazy filler, or they can be the moment where everything ties together. Maybe a phone call, a monologue, a quiet reflection. On an album with a theme this big, halftime could be where 21 steps back and zooms out on the bigger picture of how the streets changed. Then you get Big Stepper, which is one of those phrases everybody in rap seems to use now. From 21, you can expect it to be less about dancing and more about status. Who really moves with power? Who really has respect? It has the potential to be a catchy, replayable track that balances out some of the heavier songs. Atlanta Tears, featuring Lil Baby, might be the emotional heart of the whole album. Two of the biggest names tied to Atlanta's current era on a track with a title that suggests pain, loss, or reflection. There's a lot of weight built into that concept already. This is the type of song that could talk about what Atlanta has gained in fame and money, but also what it's lost in terms of lives and unity. Finally, I Wish, featuring Jawan closes the project. Ending on a song called I Wish leaves room for regret and reflection. After spending an entire album asking what happened to the streets, this feels like the track where 21 stops just observing and starts talking about what he wishes had gone differently, for himself, his city, and the people he's lost along the way. Looking at the feature list as a whole, Young Nudy, Latto, Drake, GloRilla, Herbo, Metro Boomin, Lil Baby, Jawan, it's pretty balanced. You've got big mainstream names, gritty street voices, a legendary producer treated like a character, and some melodic R&B flavor at the end. It doesn't feel like he just stacked every popular rapper he could find. It feels like he picked specific people to fill specific roles in the story. From an unbiased angle, this can go a couple of ways. The concept is strong, the features make sense, and the track list looks focused, not bloated. If the songs really connect to the title, this could be one of those projects people come back to when they talk about how street rap evolved. But if too many records lean into generic flexing and ignore the deeper question he's asking, some listeners might feel like the album promised a bigger message than it actually delivered. Either way, this track list shows that 21 Savage is very aware of the conversation around him and around the culture. He's not just dropping random songs, he's framing a narrative about how the streets changed, who survived, and what it cost to make it out. Let me know in the comments, just from this track list, which song are you most excited to hear? Which feature looks the craziest? And after you listen to What Happened to the Streets, do you feel like 21 really answered that question? Or is the streets conversation still unfinished? Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for my YouTube channel, The Short Clips Podcast. I'll catch you in the next one.